The moment every BBWLA fan feared has finally surfaced. Raw. Unfiltered footage of Jackie and Chanel's explosive showdown has leaked, and the fallout is already seismic. Rumor has it that producers, mortified by the level of chaos and raw emotion on display, seriously debated pulling the entire episode rather than risk alienating sponsorship's sore worse viewers. In the clip, voices crack with rage as decades of buried resentment explode in a flurry of accusations and schvees, leaving no doubt that this isn't your average reality TV spat. Emotions ran high, cameras trembled, and even the crew seemed powerless to intervene. Fans are shocked. The family was left divided, and social media is ablaze with speculation. What drove mother and daughter to this breaking point? Was it jealousy, betrayal, or something even darker lurking beneath the surface of their perfect facade? As whispers swirl that legal threats might follow, one thing is certain. Nothing will ever be the same for Jackie and Chantel, for the viewers caught in the middle of this storm. Strap in, because you're about to witness every incendiary second dot as the footage begins to roll. The tension is almost palpable. Chantel's voice trembles with a mixture of fear and fury as she confronts Jackie about years of buried resentment. "You never listened," Chantel hisses, her eyes flashing with raw emotion. "You always put your needs above mine." Jackie's response is a low, rattled whisper. "I raised you better than this." And in that instant, the atmosphere crackles like electricity. The crew's light rig sway caught in the wake of their unfiltered outburst, and for a split second, everyone hesitates. Silent witnesses to a wound that has clearly festered far longer than anyone realized. Fans are shocked to see this side of their favorite reality duo. The veneer of composed glamour shattered by unrestrained authenticity. The room, usually a polished set for woven storylines and carefully curated confessionals, now feels like an open battlefield. Chantel's posture is rigid, shoulders squared, in defiance as she advances, demanding answers for the countless nights she lay awake wondering why her mother never seemed proud. "You told me I wasn't enough," Chantel spits, her voice cracking under the weight of hurt. Jackie, face flushed, lashes out. "You think you know suffering? Try walking in my shoes." And the retort lands like a slap, plunging the situation into darker territory. Emotions ran high, and the network cameras designed to narrate petty arguments now capture something far more primal. A daughter seeking validation, a mother grasping for control, and a family dynamic gone catastrophically. A wry dot. What follows is a cascade of accusations that blur the line between past and present. Chantel dredges up stories of when Jackie prioritized appearance over affection, recalling the debutante party where she sat alone while her mother posed for photos. Jackie snaps back with confessions of her own, sacrifices made to build a reputation, in a world that never forgave mistakes. "I worked 3 jobs," Jackie shouts, "so you could have a life I never had." And a hush falls over the crew as the mother's pain surfaces. The cameras jerk and pivot, capturing every quiver in Jackie's voice, every tear threatening to spill from Chantel's eyes. Reactions of others bleed into the scene. A producer's shadow darts in the background, mouths agape. A makeup artist's hand trembles as she holds a powder brush. Caught between professionalism and sympathy, suddenly an unexpected twist, Chantel lunges forward, not with violence, but with desperate appeal, arms reaching out as though she could pull her mother back from an emotional cliff. "Please, Mom," she pleads, voice softening. "I just wanted your love." But Jackie, rigid as a stone statue, recoils, her expression hardening into something unfamiliar. A tense silence follows, broken only by the whir of the camera's motor. The crew exchanges uneasy glances. Whispers ripple down the line as they ponder whether to intervene or remain impartial observers. Behind the scenes, word spreads that sponsors are already circling, anxious about being associated with such volatility. The family was left divided, and even off-camera relatives pace in hushed discussions, torn between loyalty and disbelief. In the next moments, a third voice emerges. Chantel's brother Derek steps into frame, hands raised in a pacifying gesture. "This isn't you, Mom," he says quietly, looking at Jackie with a combination of sorrow and frustration. His presence injects another layer of complexities. Forced to take sides as old wounds crack open, Chantel shoots Derek a grateful glance, then returns her gaze to Jackie. the space between them now charged with untenable tension. "You know what you did," Chantel murmurs. And with that, a vase trembles on a nearby table. Petals of white leaves scattered like memories lost to time. Producers consider aborting the shoot. Their faces pale as they realize the footage could spark outrage or empathy, depending on how it's edited. But the real drama explodes when Jackie, voice shaking with indignation, accuses Chantel of betraying the family's public image. "You went to the press," she snarls. "You sold our skeletons for pity points." Chantel's eyes widen in horror and defiance. "I talked to one reporter," she admits, "because nobody heard me when it mattered." The admission hangs heavy in the air, a revelation that rips open questions about authenticity and narrative control. Fans are shocked at the thought that the pristine storyline they've come to expect might have been manufactured, that their sympathies could be manipulated. Social media ignites threads ablaze with speculation. Did Chantal leak private confessions? Or was she pushed to the brink by a mother's unrelenting criticism? Amid the chaos, a camera inadvertently captures a stunned crew member whispering into a headset. Do we keep rolling? The uncertainty is contagious, seeping into every corner of the set. Chantel's friend Renee, standing just off camera, clutches her phone, ready to live stream if the producers dare pull this segment. "This is the realest thing I've ever seen." She breathes, eyes brimming with tears. Her reaction underscores a crucial twist. While some fear the fallout, others recognize the power of raw honesty to cut through the usual reality show gloss. Producers trapped between sensational content and potential backlash hesitate as the raw footage spills truth. No editor can fully tame Dot as the confrontation intensifies. Chantal's voice quivers on the brink of sobs. "I needed you to see me," she confesses, stepping closer until only inches separate them. Jackie's demeanor softens for a fleeting heartbeat, revealing a mother torn between pride and fear. But then the dam breaks. Jackie's hand snaps forward, not in violence, but in desperate desperation to push Chantel away. The contact is brief yet electrifying, a final physical manifestation of a relationship fraying at its edges. Emotions ran high and the family was left divided as the cameras captured the shove, the gasp, the world holding its breath. In that moment, the decision to consider pulling the episode entirely makes sense. This isn't a staged skirmish. It is an eruption of decades-old long pain laid bare before millions. The aftermath is immediate. Producers huddle off-screen, agonizing over the ethical quagmire of turning such intimate agony into entertainment. Sponsors reportedly threaten to pull funding, wary of attaching their brands to a narrative that might be seen as exploitative. Meanwhile, fans dissect every frame, some praising Chantel's bravery, others accusing her of weaponizing family drama. The controversy deepens with each passing second, and the footage, once a single, unbroken stream, fractures into 1,000 debates. Across social platforms as the dust settles from that explosive shove, the set falls into an eerie stillness. Chantel stands a few paces back, hand pressed to her chest as if to steady the pounding of her heart, while Jackie's knuckles blanch white around the edge of the table. A studio assistant tiptoes forward, voice barely above a whisper. "Are you okay?" Chantel's lips tremble, but she manages a nod, her shoulders still quivering with adrenaline. The microphones hanging over them catch the soft intake of breath that echoes like thunder in the silent room. Off camera, a producer's frantic whisper makes its way through the comms feed. "We need to cut now." Yet, despite the growing sense of crisis, the cameras don't stop. They keep rolling, capturing every flicker of regret and anger in the two women's eyes. Seconds later, staff member flips a card that signals a commercial break. But Chantel and Jackie remain locked. In a tableau of raw emotion, Chantel glances at the red on-air light as if it were a beacon, a reminder that the world is watching every moment of their pain. "Why would you do that on live television?" she hisses, voice cracking. Jackie's jaw clenches, tears pooling in her eyes. "Because I couldn't watch you tear me down one more time," she counters, each word a blade of sorrow and rage. The tension is palpable, and even the crew trained to stand unseen shifts uncomfortably under the weight of the family's fractured history. Fractured history. Moments later, Chantel retreats to a nearby couch, burying her face in her hands. Renee, her loyal friend, hovers at her side, hand on Chantel's shoulder. "You're strong," Renee murmurs, voice thick with sympathy. "They can't take that away from you." Chantel pulls back, eyes red-rimmed but fierce. "I'm tired of pretending," she whispers. "I'm tired of the lies." And with those words, the narrative takes an unexpected turn. Chantel reaches for her phone and taps out a message while the network scrambles to decide whether to keep filming. The blinking cursor on her screen spells out a threat that sends shockwaves through the production team. "If they cut this, I'm dropping the full audio to the press." Jackie, noticing Chantel's determined look, lunges forward again, this time in desperation rather than anger. "Don't you dare," she pleads. "You'll ruin us." But Chantel meets her gaze without flinching. "It's already ruined," she replies, voice low and resolute. The revelation electrifies the room. A mother-daughter feud on the brink of weaponizing leaked evidence. Emotions ran high as producers exchanged panicked signals, fearing legal repercussions and sponsor walkouts. The family was left divided not only in front of the camera but behind the scenes where executives huddled in whispered debates about liability and damage control. Suddenly, the sound of clattering heels announces the arrival of Derek, his face drawn with concern. He strides toward Chantel, phone raised as though ready to defend her. "You're not doing this alone," he says quietly. Chantel offers a grateful half smile, then stands, shoulders squared. "Thank you," she says, voice steady. "But I need them to hear the truth." Nearby, a legal advisor feet away clears her throat, reminding producers that airing unauthorized audio could lead to lawsuits. The specter of a courtroom battle looms, adding layers of intrigue and risk to the unfolding drama amid the strategic maneuvering. The cameras pivot back to Frosty Jackie. Her lipstick is smudged, a sign of tears shed in moments when no one was watching. A hairstylist hovers, ready with a tissue and compassionate glance. "You don't have to go through with this," the stylist whispers. Jackie presses her lips together, drawing in a shaky breath. "Everything I've built," she says, gaze flickering to the monitors, displaying social media feeds ablaze with the hashtag #JackKevChell, fighting for that. With unsteady determination, she rises, adjusting her posture as though readying herself for battle on a different front, public opinion. As the cameras roll again, Chantel and Jackie sit opposite each other, separated by a low table strewn with scattered Lila silent witnesses to their conflict. Chantel places her phone face up, screen glowing with an open audio file. "This is your chance to explain," she says softly, "to tell everyone why you treated me like I was invisible." Silence hangs heavy before Jackie scoops up the phone, scrolling through timestamps of voicemail recordings and text messages she never meant for the world to hear. The crew murmurs in awe as the narrative shifts. What began as a physical altercation morphs into an intimate confession, each side revealing its wounds for all to dissect. Halfway through the dialogue, a crew member accidentally broadcasts snippets of their private exchange over the live stream. Viewers watching online gasp at the unedited content, and within seconds, social media platforms erupt. Clips of Chantel's tearful plea intermingle with Jackie's shaking admissions, painting a picture more profound than any stage drama. Fans are shocked to see the authenticity of a broken family laid bare beyond the familiar tropes of reality television. Feuds. The network scrambles to pull the stream, but thousands have already been shared, downloaded, and remixed, ensuring the story's proliferation, even if the official episode never airs. In an impromptu interview, Chantel's friend Renee appears on camera, fielding frantic questions. "I've known Chantel her whole life," she begins, voice measured but emotional. "She's always craved her mother's approval. Today, she finally demanded it." Her words resonate with viewers, adding a layer of outsider perspective that amplifies the emotional stakes. Meanwhile, Jackie retreats briefly to a production trailer where relatives await her return. Her sister sobs, lamenting the family's public unraveling. "You kept so much inside," she tells Jackie. "I never knew it ran this deep." Jackie's eyes fill with tears of regret as she acknowledges the consequences of silence. Back on set, Chantel confronts the camera directly, addressing viewers in a moment of unprecedented vulnerability. "If you've ever felt unheard, trust that your voice matters," she says, voice steady despite the tears lingering in her eyes. Producers exchange worried looks. They hadn't budgeted for sincere empowerment amid the sensationalism, but the raw authenticity strikes a chord with the audience. Even as sponsors threaten to distance themselves from the controversy, Chantel leans forward, phones still between them. "I'll give you one last chance," she tells her mother. "Show me you're proud." The challenge hangs in the air, a climax of emotional intensity that seems too powerful to resolve in a single episode, just when it seems the conflict will remain suspended. A new twist emerges. A backup camera catches a glimpse of Chantel's diary on a nearby table. Pages bookmarked with unseen photos and handwritten confessions. A producer silently signals for the camera to zoom in, sensing another dramatic reveal. Chantel slams her palm on the table, preventing the shot. "No," she asserts, voice fierce. "Not everything is for show." The defiance sends ripples through the crew, reminding everyone that this story transcends entertainment. It's a struggle for identity, respect, and reconciliation, captured in real time as the segment draws toward its unofficial close. Chantel and Jackie remain face to face, the air thick with unresolved tension. Chantel's eyes glisten as she whispers, "I forgive you." And for a heartbeat, Jackie's hardened expression softens. Tears break free as she nods, mouth opening to speak. But the moment shatters when the director gasps, "We're out of time." Cameras snap off, lights dim, and the set empties in stunned silence. Crew members exchange looks that say, "What just happened?" While off-screen, the decision looms. Will this footage see the light of day, or will it remain hidden in vaults? A testament to a family's breaking point. The story ends here, or so it seems, leaving everyone to wonder how much more truth lies beneath the surface. The air backstage buzzes, with uneasy energy as the footage stops rolling, but the emotional tremors ripple through every corner of the studio. Producers cluster in a circle, voices hushed and urgent. "We can't sit on this," one whispers, glancing at the raw file, still blinking on the monitors. Another counters, "If we air it unedited, we risk lawsuits and brand fallout." The family was left divided not only on camera, but in every office and trailer, each person wondering whether truth or reputation should prevail. Fans are shocked that such an intimate collapse unfolded under the guise of entertainment, and social media debates latch on to every leaked screenshot that filters online. Meanwhile, Chantel retreats to a quiet corner of the set, her trembling reflection visible in a darkened monitor. Derrick stays by her side, offering silent support. "You okay?" Kay asks softly. Chantel exhales, voice raw. "I feel exposed," she admits. But also relieved, the admission cuts deeper than any accusation. Here is a woman who finally liberated herself from years of unspoken pain. Tears slide down her cheeks as she scrolls through a flurry of notifications, some praising her courage, others condemning her for betraying her mother. The duality stings. Chantel drops her phone and breathes out, resolve hardening. "I'll handle whatever comes." Next. On the opposite end, Jackie sits alone in a makeup chair, eyes fixed on her reflection. Her usual polished veneer is gone, replaced by the aftermath of grief and anger. A stylist hesitates, offering a tissue. Jackie wipes her eyes, voice hushed. "I never meant for it to go this far." She presses her palms to her temples as if to stop her head from splitting under the weight of guilt. "We rehearsed a conflict," she mutters. "But not this level of violence." Her admission underscores a chilling truth. Reality TV sets may stage drama, but sometimes they stumble into authenticity more terrifying than fiction. Back on the soundstage, the director paces, phone glued to his ear as he negotiates with legal counsel. "We have a ton of requests for screeners," he says, voice clipped. "They want to advertise it as lost footage, but the family's lawyer is threatening an injunction." The struggle between sensational content and ethical responsibility reaches fever pitch. Producers debate editing the segment into a special report complete with disclaimers and context. But fears linger that once the raw emotional power of Chantel and Jackie's words hits the public, any attempt at framing will feel manipulative. Suddenly, a junior producer bursts into the meeting room. Breathless, there's already a trending Bark Jackie exposé. It's all over TikTok and Twitter. The room goes silent as phones light up with live updates. In minutes, tens of thousands have viewed unauthorized clips. Memes and reaction videos multiply. Emotions ran high among viewers, many drawing parallels between Shan's struggle for validation and universal experiences of mother-daughter conflicts. Some fans praise Chantel's bravery. Others criticize her for weaponizing family trauma for attention. The family was left divided in the court of public opinion, and producers face a crossroads: embrace the viral firestorm or distance themselves from the controversy. Outside the studio, journalists circle like vultures. A paparazzo snaps photos of Chantel and Derek exiting through a side door, eyes red and haunted. "Tell us how you feel," a reporter shouts. Chantel raises a hand. "I'm not giving sound bites," she replies quietly. "Is this my life?" Her refusal only fans the flames of speculation. Fans are shocked that she'd decline media opportunities, interpreting it as either dignity or fear. The mother-daughter feud transcends television, which becomes a cultural moment about authenticity, family secrets, and the cost of turning private pain into public spectacle. Meanwhile, Jackie's sister organizes a press release from a small office adjacent to the set. She types furiously. Jackie regrets the public confrontation and is committed to mending her relationship with Chantel. But even as she crafts soothing language, her fingertips hesitate over the send button. Who can control the narrative? When every word will be dissected against the raw footage with trembling resolve, she hits send. Within seconds, the release circulates on gossip blogs and newswire sites. Some sympathetic, others scathing. The family was left divided once more. Now, along ideological lines, those who believe in private reconciliation and those who demand full transparency. Inside, Chantel and Jackie are summoned for a mediated sit-down with the executive producer. The tension is so thick you could slice it with a knife. Cameras stand by, earmarked for a special segment if they agree to reopen the conversation. Chantel enters first, followed by Jackie, each flanked by supportive relatives. The room hums with anticipation, a taut wire ready to snap. The mediator clears her throat. "We're here to foster dialogue, not drama." Chantel glances at Jackie, voice steady. "I still want answers." Jackie exhales, her gaze flicking to the family lawyer seated in the corner. "I want to understand why you felt unheard," she says, softening. The unexpected olive branch triggers a flicker of hope, but drama isn't so easily contained. Chantel leans forward, eyes blazing. "You never accepted my choices, my career, my friendships," she says. "You always saw them as threats." Jackie's jaw tightens. "I worried you'd sabotage the family name," she counters, voice barely above a whisper. The exchange plunges them back into the emotional abyss, and the mediator struggles to maintain order. "Let's slow down," she urges, but Chantel presses on. "You humiliated me at every turn." Jackie's eyes fill with tears. Trying to protect you, she sobs. The raw power of those words sends a shiver through everyone present. This is no longer a reality. Show skirmish, but a therapy session unfolding live. The cameras pivot to capture this unscripted reconciliation attempt. Even as producers wrestle with the ethics of airing it, a sponsor liaison paces behind the lens, phone in hand, ready to pull funds at the first sign of backlash. The family was left divided, but in this moment, they inch toward unity. Chantel reaches out, placing her hand over her mother's. The room catches its collective breath. Fans are shocked to witness genuine empathy emerge from the wreckage. Social media erupts a new time divided between those moved by the gesture and those cynical about its sincerity. Just when it seems the drama might transform into healing, a new twist erupts. Derek's phone buzzes with an anonymous tip, a text message urging him to check Chantel's email. Derek's brow furrows as he reads a forwarded note from Chantel's inbox addressed to a tabloid. "I'm ready to go public with every voicemail." It reads. Jackie's eyes fly open in horror. "You lied," she accuses, voice trembling. Chantel looks stricken, but resolute. "I had no choice." The room shatters into chaos. The mediator gasps. Producers scramble. This fresh betrayal rekindles old wounds and threatens to torpedo any hope of Resolution. Crew members glance nervously at the director, wondering if the cameras should shut off, but the director shakes his head. The story is unfolding beyond any script. Jackie retreats, hands covering her face. Chantel stands her ground. The family was left divided again. And this time, the divide feels unbridgeable. The raw power of truth and betrayal radiates through the studio's walls, a force no one can contain. Outside, the press release announcing, reconciliation is already drowned out by breaking headlines about Chantel's leaked emails. The narrative fractures into competing storylines. A family attempting to heal, a daughter exposing secrets, a mother fighting for dignity. Each twist fuels the frenzy, and producers realize they've captured something far more explosive than any stage confrontation. The cameras, once tools of artifice, have become witnesses to genuine catharsis and conflict, blurring the line between reality and spectacle. Emotions ran high, and as the crew exhales collectively, they know they are holding footage that could redefine reality television itself, bury a family in public scrutiny forever. The room feels charged, as if the very air is crackling with the fallout from Chantel's email leak. Jackie retreats to a corner, shoulders hunched, blinking back fresh tears. Chantel stands center stage, gaze unwavering, the glow of her phone, screen still visible. On her face, the mediator fumbles for words, voice small. This is unprecedented. Producers exchange frantic gestures behind the cameras. Should they cut, pause, or keep rolling? A junior editor, eyes wide, murmurs into her headset. We're live on a backup stream. Suddenly, the world outside presses in with brutal force. Outside the studio, the hashtag #Sarchel emails explodes. Gossip sites cherry-pick scandalous lines from TR, her drafts, accusations of hidden bank accounts, hushed references to therapy sessions, biting observations about family secrets. Fans dissect every sentence, debating whether Chantel's willingness to go public makes her a heroine or a villain. She's exposing too much, one commenter types. Good for her. Another fires back. The family was left divided all over again, this time in the digital battlegrounds of Twitter and Instagram. Meanwhile, Derek steps forward, blocking the camera's view of his sister for a moment. He lowers his voice as he addresses Jackie. I know this hurts, but we have options. He glances at the legal advisor hovering nearby. Whispers fly about Sandist's letters and non-disclosure agreements that Chantel supposedly signed years ago. Chantel's lips tighten. I want no gag orders, she snaps. I want the truth out there. The legal advisor flinches, rubbing her temples. Everyone realizes the show has veered from controlled drama into a legal minefield. In the midst of chaos, a set designer tentatively approaches Jackie carrying a vase of lees that were cleared from the table earlier. I thought these might help, the designer says softly, offering the flowers like an olive branch. Jackie accepts them with trembling hands, staring down at the petals as if seeking solace in their fragile beauty. For a fleeting moment, the fierce mother, the unrelenting critic, vanishes, replaced by a woman overwhelmed by guilt. Yet the moment dissolves as Chantel's friend Renee steps into frame, anger blazing in her eyes. So now we hide behind flowers. Renee's voice rings out, cutting through the tension. Do you think that fixes decades of silence? Chantel pulses with emotion beside her friend, nodding. I spoke only because I had to, Chantel says, voice soft but resolute. If you had listened sooner, none of this would have happened. Jackie's face twists. You're rewriting history, she accuses. I gave you everything. The contradiction ricochets through the room. Two versions of the same life. It's painful and true. The cameras don't blink. Every expression, every faltering step is recorded with ruthless clarity. The crew, invisible yet omnipresent, watches as family therapy becomes public spectacle. A boom operator swallows hard, adjusting his mic to capture highest confidences. Lighting technician pauses mid-adjustment, mesmerized by the raw energy on set. Producers, once strategists of drama, now scramble to frame this uncontrolled whirlwind into a coherent narrative, if that's even possible. Below decks. The social media team works in overdrive, drafting tweets aimed at steering the narrative. Stay tuned for a candid mother-daughter conversation. but the words ring hollow against the backdrop of Chantel's unfiltered revelations. Clips of her voice, shaky but clear, leak onto fan pages, garnering millions of views. Fans are shocked to witness such vulnerable admissions. Chantel's confession that she once stole money from Jackie's purse to buy therapy sessions. Jackie's tearful admission that she felt lost after her own mother's death. These buried truths breathe new life into the feud. Meanwhile, sponsors stage an intervention. A representative from a luxury skincare brand demands an urgent call with the network's ad team. Transcripts of that exchange circulate. Among executives, threats to withdraw funding, ultimatums that the toxic footage be scrubbed. The network CFO, normally stoic, paces the hallways in a fresh panic. Numbers flash on screens. Projected losses if the episode airs uncut. Projected gains if the scandal drives subscriptions. The tension between ethics and profit twists tighter. Back on set, Chantel drifts toward a row of empty chairs as if searching for a place to land. Her voice cracks. I never wanted this to be public. The admission strikes a chord with the crew, many of whom have families of their own. A makeup artist, compassion in her eyes, steps forward on instinct, offering a reassuring touch to Chantel's arm. Jackie watches, conflicted, as her daughter crumbles and others rally to her side. The director, perspiration beading on his brow. Watches monitors flicker with red live indicators. A sudden announcement crackles through the intercom. We're switching to tape. July 5th minutes. Producers cheer in relief, scrambling to activate censorship protocols. Cameras, once freewheeling, now slow their roll. Chantel exhales as if released from a cage, even as Jackie's expression hardens again. You think editing can change? The truth. Chantel challenges, eyes blazing. The room falls silent, the lull before an even larger storm in the wings. Derrick steadies his sister with a brother's protectiveness. We'll get through this, he whispers. Yet his eyes betray uncertainty. The network has threatened legal action. Fans have drawn battle lines. Sponsors have blinked. The mother-daughter relationship, already eroded by years of silence, now teeters, on a razor's edge. Behind every cutaway, every off-camera whisper lies the question, how much pain is too much to show? As the tape delay comes online, the family braces themselves. The world beyond the studio waits with bated breath. Social feeds hum with anticipation. Will they air the unedited confessions? Will Jackie's apology come through? Will Chantel retract? Her threats? The next moments could redefine reality television's boundaries or bury a family under the weight of its own secrets. But for now, the camera's paused, then rolling again. Capture a fractured family caught between truth and spectacle. Each frame a testament to the explosive power of unfiltered emotion. The aftermath of this unfiltered confrontation leaves more questions than answers. Will Jackie and Chantel find a way to rebuild their bond after years of silence? Or has the fallout from these leaked moments irreparably shattered their trust? Will the network dare to air the footage in full, knowing it could spark a firestorm of both sympathy and outrage? As a viewer, you've witnessed the raw reality of a family forced into the spotlight, and now it's your turn to weigh in. You believe Chantel's courage to speak her truth deserves applause. Hit that like button and let your voice be heard. If you think Jackie's struggle to protect her legacy resonates with you, subscribe and stay tuned for every twist in this ongoing saga. Share your opinions in the comments below. Do you side with mother or daughter, or do you see shades of both in this heartbreaking struggle? Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss an update on this explosive story. And tell us what you think will happen next. Will there be a public apology, a legal showdown, or a heartfelt reconciliation off-camera chimera? Your thoughts could steer the next chapter of this dramatic saga. Like, subscribe, and comment. Now, your reaction might be the key to unlocking the next reveal in the most talked about reality TV meltdown of the year.